Now back to the Brian Zimmerman Show. Here's Brian.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Brian Zimmerman Show, where I share personal tell-all stories and revelations of my good and bad experiences in sales, music, marketing, and radio. Thought I'd share today one of the best sales books that I ever read. Now, I've read many different sales books throughout my BDR career, but this one really stood out the most. This is Art Subject's Smart Calling book. And if you haven't read it already, I highly suggest that you do. And I just wanted to share a couple of some examples, some things that I particularly stood out to me when I read the book. Let the phone ring. Okay, there's a lot of salespeople who give up after the third or fourth ring. Let the phone just keep ringing, even if it's 10 or 12 rings. Sometimes people are just coming back from their desk from a meeting or something, and Art says that if you let the phone ring, your contact rate, your connection rate increases by 59.3%. One of the other things too is to mention about, and I always use this as well, you saw a post, right? You're calling a prospect up and you're maybe on LinkedIn or you read someplace on Google or somewhere that they just published a post. And you want a reference in there that when you call them, that you saw that post, you saw a quote. You don't want to lead with a pitch. That's where the whole point of smart calling comes into play. I think I did an episode about this before. Everybody says, what do you say when the prospect picks up? How are you? How are you today? You got to get rid of that. How's your Tuesday going so far? How's your day going? How's your week going? How's your day treating you? Something like that. You want to sound different than all the other sales reps out there. When they say not interested, this is probably the number one reason why on two fronts. One is people don't like making cold calls because they're afraid of getting rejected and hearing not interested. And not interested is probably the number one sales objective. So the average salesperson says, okay, thank you for your time, and they hang up as soon as they hear not interested. When you hear not interested, the smart way to handle that objection is to say something like, does that mean now or not, now or never? To something to that extent. You want to be able to challenge that objection. You want to be able, the whole point of this is to get the prospect to keep talking. Sometimes you like to want to mirror and repeat that, not interested. And so then they can maybe elaborate a little bit more, because a lot of prospects, they're not anticipating you to challenge an objective, especially if you're an average salesperson. And that's really there's a lot more in here, but I want to make this a short video. But I highly recommend, if you haven't read this book already, to read it, and it will definitely improve your selling. That is all for me. I'm Brian. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.